disappearance of Kemberly Ramer, and I'm going to be referring to her as Kim, as that's what most of her friends and family refer to her as. So Kim, K-E-M Ramer, a 17-year-old going into her senior year of high school. I have a picture of her up on the screen right now, but the year was 1997, and Kim was having a night to remember. It was specifically on August 15th, 1997, a Friday night, that Kim had finished up a softball game and was hanging out with some of her friends around the town of Opp, O-P-P, that's how you spell it, Opp, Alabama. So after she was done hanging out with her friends, she went to see her boyfriend, and her curfew was midnight, and she really didn't break this too often. She didn't plan on breaking it this evening, so she went home and made it home before midnight this evening. And this actually was noted by neighbors, that they saw Kim's car pull into her dad's house. That's where she lived. Her parents were divorced, but she lived with her dad. And they said they saw Kim's car pull in and park in their driveway before midnight. But it was just before midnight, as most of us would do. I'd also like to add that I don't think anyone specified that they saw Kim. They saw her car pull in and park, but her specifically, they did not see her. So again, Kim's parents were divorced, so she primarily lived with her father in Opp, Alabama. Her mother lived very close by, but across the Florida border. Opp, Alabama is very close to Florida, the northern end of Florida. Even though her curfew was set at midnight, her dad was not always home to enforce that curfew. But there was a lot of trust in this family. They didn't have any reason not to trust each other. So this particular evening, Kim's dad was spending the night elsewhere, and that was at his girlfriend's home. So Kim was alone for the night. Being a responsible teenager, it was thought that Kim basically got home, got ready for bed, and planned to go to bed at a normal time. She had to be at her school the following morning to be assigned a parking spot. She was going to be a senior, and they all got assigned parking spots. So it was just a few days until the school year started, and this was just one of those things that they did right before. So Kim's father, Kenneth, returned home the following day, Saturday, August 16th, and he came home to an empty house, but he was not concerned. This was not really unusual, and like I said, the Ramers lived a very trusting and open family life. They didn't need to tell each other where they were at every moment. They really trusted each other, and another reason why he wasn't worried is because Kim often goes with her mother places, so it just crossed his mind that they were probably shopping, they were probably doing this. If he knew about the parking spot assignment, it could have crossed his mind that she was doing that, but he recounts that he wasn't concerned because this wasn't out of the ordinary. When it became the 17th of August, a Sunday, that is when Kenneth started to get a little bit concerned. So he decided to call up his ex-wife, Sue, Kim's mother, and he basically asked when Kim was going to be home, and Sue was like, Kim is not with me. Kim has not been with me, like, recently. So they both started kind of panicking, because here you are, this mother that just has your ex-husband asking when your daughter is going to be home. So they clearly knew that it had been a few days since Kim had been seen by anybody. So before reaching out to police, they decided to try to talk with Kim's close friends and boyfriend. They had really no luck at all with this, so they decided to move forward with reporting Kim missing. And at this point, we were already closing in on 48 hours since Kim had last been like actually truly seen safe. And I know that we see this a lot of the time, like on those crime shows, that the first 2 days are so important when a child goes missing, and they had almost exhausted those 48 hours already. So police note that, and I quote, "It was clear she made it into the house, and they say that it was because her belongings were in the house, her car was parked, her keys were in the house." But to play devil's advocate, I don't think that's proof that she made it into the house. I think proof that she made it to the house would obviously be like surveillance footage, or even an eyewitness, but they didn't have that, and they were just going off of this assumption that she did make it into the house, which we're gonna go through more info, and I probably do believe that she did. I want to reiterate, there's really no specific hard evidence that she made it in. From what I know, police keep so much private. When police get to looking around Kim's room, it looks like a struggle had occurred there. Her bed sheets were like kind of strewn, her pillow was on the floor, and a picture had fallen off the wall. And again, no Kim in sight. Kim's purse, keys, vehicle, glasses, money, and every pair of shoes that she owned were all still at the house. And so because of these facts, police decided to move forward with the idea that Kim was abducted, that she did not leave that house on her terms, and that it had to have been between midnight and 6 a.m. when Kenneth came home. Kim had straight A's, she was very popular, and on many occasions spoke to family about how excited she was for starting her senior year of high school in just a few days. There was no doubt in their minds that Kim could have ran away. This is obviously something that police always bring up, even though it's still a possible theory. It is one that friends and family really just don't consider, and we also have to keep in mind who leaves without shoes, your car, your money. Those are all things that you would use if you were running away. You just wouldn't leave them. The small town of Opp, Alabama decided they needed some help and almost immediately called in the FBI for assistance. And Opp, Alabama has less than 7,000 people, and I mean that's really small comparatively. It just depends where you're from, because you can live in a town of like 300 people, so it is pretty small. And it was also pretty safe. It was relatively safe as far as violent crime. So in the next few minutes, I will be detailing the search efforts put forth in finding Kim, and I want you to just understand the efforts, funds, and time that just went into following leads and tips. And remember, this is 1997. So initially, local searches ensued, mainly led by family. And in this time of the initial local searching, police ruled out the following suspects, or the following people as suspects: Kim's parents, Kim's friends, boyfriend, and other close relatives in the area. So very little was released about how these people were cleared, but it's just public that they were not being looked into as suspects. Police learned that a few phone calls, I think 3 to be exact, were placed from the Ramer household to a number in Florida, and I think the technology was different, so it's not like pinging off of a certain cell tower. They just knew it was an area code, so an area that this phone number was from. The phone number that was called never picked up any of the 3 times. Police inquire about this phone number. I mean, they figure out where it's from, and they try to make connections. They don't really have an easy time of this. Family tell police that this is not a number Kim would have known. They know what numbers she has memorized, and it was not one. Despite the efforts of trying to track down this number, they really didn't find much with it. Initial time after Kim went missing, wait for Kim to be returned to them. Eventually, the school year had to start without Kim, so her friends began their senior year very upset, sad, and missing their friend, feeling like they were leaving her behind. By December of 1997, this is 4 months after Kim's disappearance, her parents held a press conference. They begged for help, including offering a reward for information. More months passed until a lead came up that seemed pretty credible to follow through. This tip mentioned Kim being placed in the Walton County Pond. This was a known party spot, and it was only 30 miles from the Ramer household. Cadaver dogs were sent to the area, as police knew at this point they were not searching for a living person. The dogs seemed to hit on something, and that led police to a body of water where a diving team was then called out to search. After 3 days of searching very acidic water that was really hard to search in, nothing was discovered in relation to Kim. Hundreds of searches ensue in the following years that led to absolutely nothing. In 2006, another credible lead popped up, and this is 9 years after Kim went missing. The tip was that Kim had fallen into a sinkhole near Ponce de Leon, Florida. I don't know if I said that right. The police decided to push funds into this lead because this is the same area that the area code from that phone call was in, so they considered it credible, and they put 35 hours of searching into this area. Nothing at all. More and more leads poured in over the years. Investigators, again, following every single one of them up, putting more funds into the credible ones. Nothing, not even the smallest scrap of information came from these. In 2015, a very specific tip came in that Kim could be found in an abandoned house located in Coffee County. And again, an extensive search brought nothing forward. By 2019, investigators feel that they know who could be involved, but they've released very, very little information, and it just kind of seems like they might just have very little information. So with little information, this brings us to theories, because we don't have any evidence, and so a lot has to be theorized. I know that police say that Kim made it home and her boyfriend was cleared, but I'm not super convinced with their reasoning. Again, they may have more than they are leading on. Maybe they do have surveillance of her getting inside, but I do think it's a possibility that something happened to Kim between Kim's boyfriend's house and her house. And again, I know they said they cleared Kim's boyfriend, and maybe he is innocent, but that doesn't leave the opportunity for something to have happened after she left his house. If something did happen, it would have had to have been someone that knew where she lived. It would have had to have been someone who was willing to look at her ID for an address. If that was, she would have had that on her license. And it does seem a little bit hard to believe that it would have been a random crime of opportunity and that the same person came to her house to put her things. What would the point be? There would be no point to stage a struggle or whatever. Maybe someone followed her. That was completely random, a complete random crime of opportunity. Who knows? I would like to take this time to say no forced entry was found. I don't know if that means that she may have left a door unlocked. I think that's just kind of open. She may have left one unlocked, or someone may have known how to get in. I think it could be either way. The next theory, again, not believed by many because of Kim's immaculate performance in school as well as personality, but that she ran away. Again, doesn't make sense. Didn't bring her shoes, of all things, shoes. Didn't bring literally anything. You're gonna bring money with you. So it's a theory. I have to say it. I don't think many believe it. And the last, I think most substantiated theory is about an individual I have not mentioned. I also will not be mentioning their name because no charges or anything have been brought forward on this person. I'm not sure they've been named an official suspect. They might have been. I don't think so though. Kim's sister was dating a man that was also the son of a deputy in a surrounding area, and he is a suspicious individual because of the following. He supposedly stole / borrowed a truck the same night that Kim went missing. He does not have an alibi for the time or day or time that Kim went missing. He would not take a polygraph test. Polygraphs can't be used in court, so this one doesn't mean a lot to me. He was from the area that the phone calls were made to from the Ramer home. So all of these things just seemed a little bit suspicious, and considering the link that this person had to Kim, they thought he was suspicious, and he had a record. So he just remains this suspicious figure, and I don't know, I guess the theory with this person, or any person that would have had the opportunity to get in and take Kim, is that Kim came home, someone knew how to get in the house, or she left a door open and they got in the house. They attacked her when she was either in bed or in her room. They either killed her right then or they rendered her unconscious and took her out of the house. The phone calls, I think, are such a mystery because why they don't really make sense. If you were somebody coming in to abduct another person, whether it was random opportunity or planned, what do the phone calls have anything to do with unless you're like calling for help? Like backup? I really don't know. Like why do you guys think if you're going in to abduct someone, what are the phone calls? I just can't sit here and give a good reason for those phone calls. I feel like it just seems risky. It just adds a layer of telling investigators that this is an area of focus. It's something that has to do with the attacker. So it's just very odd to me. It's thought that it's likely she was disposed of somewhere in Alabama or Florida and just has gone undetected. Again, she is still missing, and it's devastating to her family that it has been this long and she is still missing. 25 years. So, approximately 1 year ago, District Attorney Walt Merrill made a statement regarding Kim's case, and I'm just going to read a little snippet of what that statement entailed. So, Kemberly Ramer's family has been kept apprised of the investigation since its inception. We have intentionally maintained media silence. Without this joint cooperation, the likes of which we've never experienced before, the progress we've made thus far would not have been possible. I cannot express my appreciation enough to Sheriff Turman, Chief Chance, and Sheriff Adkins. They have gone above and beyond. The investigation is still ongoing and has been very productive. Per the grand jury's instructions, we will reconvene and present the next phase of the evidence we have discovered in the near future. So I feel like that wouldn't have been said if they weren't making a little headway. They don't want to give the public, and especially not the family, a glimmer of hope in some form of justice if they didn't have something. So again, this is kind of one of those that I really hope that I'm able to give you an update on in the hopefully near future. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a description of Kim and what she was wearing the night that she went missing, as well as put up an age progression picture of her, what she would look like now. So Kim has brown hair and eyes. Her ears are pierced. She had clear braces on at the time of her disappearance. The day she went missing, she was wearing a white t-shirt with bright colors and the words New Orleans on the front. She had on gray cut-off sweatpants. Her jewelry consisted of a gold rope necklace, gold chain anklet, and possibly a gold bracelet. I think it was maybe like a matching set, and they weren't certain that she had that on. If you have any information regarding Kim's disappearance, please call the Opp Police Department at 334-493-4511 or the FBI at 202-324-3000. That information is in my description box. Again, if you know anything, please come forward. And I think the rest of us can just hope that justice can be brought for Kim. We have to hope in a lot of these unsolved cases, but we really just have to believe in the investigators that are trying to bring justice to the family. And it does sound like these guys are really trying to get this for Kim's family. So again, hopefully I can post an update. Hopefully one comes very soon. And other than that, that is all I have this week. I will see you guys next week. Please stay safe,